So, if you're here and you're seeing the title, yes, it is true. I have lost $13,000 in the casinos. Uh, Worst of all, it was online casinos. Um, I don't want my channel to be about just gambling. Uh, I just personally was just, you know, this event happened and I just wanted to talk about it and kind of get my feelings out. Maybe this video helps people out. If this video even helps one person out, that would be a success in my book. I actually want this channel to be more of a just a commentary channel and just talk about, random stuff and, you know, whatever. But yeah, this event happened, so might as well start with this, I guess. Um, I guess I've gambled for a long time. Not crazy though, right? Like, play 50 bucks with friends, maybe put at most $100 on a basketball game or a football game and just kind of watch the game on a special occasion like the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals, whatever, right? It's special occasions. It wasn't too crazy. And that was it for a long, long time. And even when I would go to actual casinos, I never took more than like $500. And again, special occasions, right? On a cruise ship, or if I'm traveling for whatever reason and I'm in a state that allows gambling, sure, I'll stop by, play a little bit, whatever. No more than $500, $600, right? So what led me to this, right? Well, one, obviously gambling can become an addiction, and it just happened that it got me, right? I'm ashamed to say I'm addicted, but it's the truth, right? What got me addicted? I don't know. I just, when it was happening, I was playing because I had just recently gotten two things that were pretty expensive, right? Total, vacation, whatever, a couple things here and there. That totaled to about five ish, 6,000 ish dollars. And I was like, I want to get that money back, or at least half of it, whatever. Just trying to save some cash, right? Just silly. I had the money for it. Um, I was like, I'll play with a little bit of money, and I deposited $2,000 into an online casino. Um, on like a random week, lost it, and then next week I deposited in $3,000, and that's happened for like 5 weeks straight, 6 weeks straight of depositing $2,000 to $3,000, and wouldn't you know it, I lost it all. Right now, if I were to tell you that I am good with money, I would not be surprised if you laughed at what I just said. Right? Um, it's funny because I lost that money. It's a lot of money, and that's about 90% of my cash in hand, right? That money was in a high yield savings. That money was also in my bank account. Some of, it was like a mix and match, about 10 of that was in my savings account. About three of that, four of that was in my bank account. Um, and yeah, that's where that money was. But um, when I say I'm good with money, I really do mean it. I just have an addiction, right? Um, you know, I've worked for 2 full years now. I've been out of college for 2 years. Um, in those 2 years, I had saved a good amount of money. Um, I had I have invested about 12, 13 ish $1,000, right? And I also have, like I said, $13,000 that I lost was about 90% of my cash. Um, it's hard to say that and to imagine that because I've busted my ass off for 2 years, and the $13,000 is about 5 to 6 months, maybe most likely 7. Because I, of course, too, don't have the best paying job in the world, but um, you know, it's my fault. I shouldn't have done that. Um, when I was playing for the very first time ever, I felt, I guess, like I was not attached to the money, right? I just saw it, and that was it, right? I didn't feel anything in terms of um, like I didn't have any value towards that money when it was in the account of like the casinos or whatever, right? The online casinos. Um, for the longest time, I actually had my money. Um, like it was just break even. I was not making money nor losing money. And yeah, but eventually the math will math. Um, I do have to say, maybe had I from the jump lost money, and when I mean from the start, I mean from when, like my very first time that I ever gambled, had I lost that money, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation. Um, it feels terrible. I feel like crap. Um, but luckily I have a good group around me, and they're helping me out, and hopefully I can move on from this chapter of my life quickly. It'll take me about 7 to 8 months to recover, money wise, but it just sucks that I worked so hard to move out and get all these nice things just to throw it out in a month and have to work again for half a year to recoup that. I could be so ahead, and I feel like had I hadn't done such a rash decision, but um, I could have, like I said before, been ahead, miles ahead. Uh, I think the thing that gets me the most is not losing it, but just feeling ashamed of myself, and also feeling like I let people down, right? I got a lot of friends, got a lot of family that are helping me out a lot, and just so I could be in the best possible position before I, move on, and uh, I'm by myself essentially. That by doing this, I feel like I've betrayed them, and more than the money, I feel like I wasted 6 months, 7 months of my life, right? So that's probably the worst of all this. It's not even about the dollar sign. Um, it's more about the what it really means, and at least in my eyes, right? Um, so yeah, I think that's the hardest part. Um, but lastly, I would say that without that, I would be, like I said, miles ahead, but also just not overthinking everything, right? Now I can't concentrate very well, right? I just keep thinking about that, and I keep thinking about had I done differently. So not only am I suffering money wise, I'm also in my head, right? Mentally. Um, So this is like the biggest one financial event in my life, but two, like one of the hardest things that has happened to me, that I could have controlled at the very least, right? So yeah, it is. It's a terrible feeling. So my advice to you is don't even gamble. If you do, do it with friends at very, very minimal um, stakes, right? I would not even recommend anything above like $25 if you're really going to do it. Um, I learned the hard lesson, the hard way. I knew the worst part is like I knew about it, right? Like I know I'm supposed to lose, but something just took over me. It felt like it wasn't even me, right? Um, so yeah. Um, so now if you ever feel like that, just know it's probably best to stop if you feel like that. And try your hardest to stop. Have people with you. Have limits, parameters. I think that's probably one area I failed too. Had I had parameters protecting me from something like that, I wouldn't be in this spot. Had I been, say, I can't I can't withdraw more than X amount. I think that would have helped cover some of my losses. But anyways, see you guys. Have a good one.